I'm a 23-year-old cinematographer. I don't do a 9 to 5 job. I never really wanted to do one. I make 2 lakh rupees a month and I work with India's top brands like Make My Trip, Paytm, Anytime Fitness and many more. And this is my career story. So I come from Bihar. Unfortunately, my father passed away when I was just 8 months old. I remember when I was in class 8, my mom got a new Redmi phone. And I was so fascinated about the camera that I spent the next 3 days researching more about phone cameras. I don't know why I was so curious about cameras since my childhood. I remember coming from school and going onto the terrace with my mother's phone, clicking sunset pictures, clicking bees mating. I don't know why I did that. I remember going to my Masi's place, which was like a kilometer away from the airport, and whenever I used to go there, I always used to click pictures of a lot of airplanes. I used to borrow my friend's camera or my senior's camera and used to click some pictures on the photo walk itself. But I always wanted mine. So I remember borrowing 30,000 from my sister and actually getting my first Nikon camera. I still have that with me. And then came class 12th. Fortunately, I managed to score 78% and my mom was kind enough to allow me to shift to Delhi. I got to know that WIPS is one of the best colleges for bachelors in journalism and mass communication. I sat for the entrance test and I finally cracked it. But as we all know how much Indian education system actually supports practical learning rather than just grasping textbook, it didn't work out for me at all. Most of my time I was in societies, attending events or organizing events. And as I started working more with clients, more with different people, I started enjoying this work. And honestly speaking, by the end of third year, I was making more money than any of my friends would if they join a job at that time. This also helped me in landing one of my biggest clients till date, Indigo Airlines. And if you remember how addicted I was to clicking airplane pictures, this was actually a dream come true moment for me. So by God's grace, what followed was a series of big clients, Anytime Fitness, Make My Trip, Paytm. And I also started working with some big agencies like Benz Labs and other agencies in my city. So as I said, I was very inclined towards photography even in my school days. So when I was in class 11th and 12th, my friends got to know that I am doing photography commercially as well. So one of my friends approached me to cover an event at his house, which was a normal birthday event, and for which I got a gig of around 500 rupees. That was my first paid gig which I did when I was in Patna itself. I was in my school only. So as I earlier mentioned, I was also going on different photo walks while I was in my class 8th and 9th. There I connected with a wedding photography studio whose owner also used to come to that photo walks. So I started interning there at 5,000 rupees per month. I used to learn how to edit wedding videos, how to shoot cinematic wedding trailers and all the stuff related to wedding. I started capturing weddings as well. So that's how I got my second gig in photography when I was like 18 years old. So I get a lot of questions and people actually ask me that how did you manage your college studies alongside photography and filmmaking? To be very honest, I didn't. Because college was actually not adding anything substantial to my skills. So I actually started focusing more on that rather than just college studies. So for college exams, I did exactly what I was doing in my school. Study a night before and just pass the exams. So the first step would be start exploring with your phone's camera. I believe most of the people who are watching this video would be having a decent camera. Start exploring different genres like commercial photography, product photography, street photography, and see if you are really inclined towards it. If you are actually inclined towards it, start building a network out of this. Start posting your pictures, whatever you shoot on Instagram, on portfolio websites. Approach the people, approach different clientele through these portfolios, through these pictures. Intern with someone who is a freelancer, or intern in an agency or a photography studio who actually is doing some business out there. Once you intern with those people, you'll actually get to know how the business of photography or filmmaking works. Then build a portfolio of your own self and start approaching different gigs for freelancing or different jobs at photography, filmmaking. Once you have a decent portfolio, you will be able to land decent clients who are actually looking to get high quality videography services or high quality photography services. Build a network out of those clients, use those clients as a references or as a clientele portfolio for your further clients. But for actually doing something you really want to make a career in, you need to be really passionate about something. So if you are really passionate about photography, filmmaking, just dive deep into it. So generally most DOPs work on a per day basis. The average charge varies from 10,000 to 1 lakh rupees per day. The difference between a DOP who charges 10,000 per day and 1 lakh rupee per day is basically of experience. The DOP who charges 1 lakh rupees per day would be someone who's actually very experienced. He knows everything about the composition, he knows everything in detail about the lighting, about the structure of the film, about what the director is actually looking for. It also lies on the nature of the project. Suppose if you are shooting an ad film, the DOP could charge somewhere around 50,000 to 1 lakh rupee per day easily. But suppose you are shooting a very small podcast for a normal agency or a normal firm, you can charge somewhere around 10 to 15,000 for that. Networking. That's the one liner answer I can give to this statement. So, how I have network? I have actually used Instagram as a major platform for landing multiple clients. And secondly, referrals help you land a lot of clients. If you are kind enough, if you are actually good, and if your work is also genuinely good, people refer you to their friends, to their colleagues, to their other agencies who are actually looking for good DOPs and videographers. Mind me, there are a lot of videographers and DOPs in this industry, but very few of them actually build networks. Very few of them actually build substantial network with clients. So if you are really not upskilling yourself, you are really not passionate about this, you are really not getting into the art, you are really not getting a professional client base, if you are stuck at the bottom somewhere like just a basic videographer who charges suppose 5k 3k and just do the basic task and just deliver the output, just sets up the camera, no one would actually really respect you until you reach a good level. For actually providing, for actually delivering some content, for actually delivering work, that's what will get you respect in this industry. One of the harshest truth about this industry is that if you really want your client to value you, you need to be very professional in everything. What output you are delivering, how you dress up, how you perform, how you act at the shoot, everything matters in front of the client. So if you can't look professional, you can't deliver good quality of work, you can't communicate well, to be very honest, this industry is not very good to be in. Number 3, know what you are really passionate about. The quickest way to know what you are really passionate about is to backtrack your childhood and your family history. For example, my grandfather used to run a photography studio and I got my inclination towards photography in class 8. Only if I knew that my grandfather was also passionate about photography and my DNA was already carrying that, I would have stepped in even earlier. Before entering into any field commercially, one should be really sure whether he or she has the passion for it or not, whether they have the potential for it or not. Number 2, never consider any job to be small. I meet with a lot of beginner freelance videographers and photographers on a daily basis. You know what? Most of them come with me with a very common problem. I want to land a high ticket client in my first week or in my first month of starting my agency or my freelance work. Listen to me, this is not practically possible. Even if you have all the knowledge of photography, filmmaking, videography and everything, you don't have the experience for it. You don't have the portfolio to showcase it to the clients. For that, you really need to do the small jobs. For that, you really need to do the beginner jobs first. So stop denying or being ashamed of getting that pity jobs or that low budget jobs. Take up that job, build your portfolio, expand your network, and then that will help you in actually landing high ticket clients. Point number 1, always be ready for humiliation. If you are going against the crowd, if you are going against the rat race, if you are going against the world, be ready to face humiliation. No one will support you if you start following your passion. No one will support you if you start dancing, singing, photography. If you do anything which the others aren't doing, they won't support you. They would make fun of you. You would be the topic of their discussions. They would giggle about you. They will laugh at you. But you know what? If all these distractions are going to distract you from your path, you would never really achieve what you are looking for. You would never really reach where you want to reach. In the end, to do what I actually love doing, it's not all because of me. I would like to thank my mother, my sister, my uncles, my family who supported me to become what I want to become, who supported me to be what I really want to be. Today, I'm following my passion, making roughly of 1.5 to 2 lakh every month, taking care of every household expenditure, taking care of every medical expenses my family needs to go through, and basically doing what a man generally in her 30s or 40s would do. And I'm also very proud of myself that I chose to do what I'm actually doing right now. Not going with the rat race, not following the herd. I actually did what I really wanted to, not what most people in my age are actually doing. So if you are someone who is really passionate about something, if you are someone who don't want to follow the rat race and start something of their own, do it. But be ready for the mockery, be ready for the humiliation, and be ready for the jokes that are going to be cracked on you. Because once you cross the tunnel of bad days, mockery, laughter, you would feel that all your days are filled with joy. Remember, there's always a choice between 5 years of hard work or 50 years of regret. You choose what you want to do.